it's always difficult. Doesn't matter what game you're talking about. It's always difficult when you've got a good squad, and we've certainly got that. And we've said all along that it'll be the squad effort, the squad togetherness that gets us through this competition and puts us in a good position. And as you say, a tough decision to make. Some tough decisions to make this week, but we feel the balance of the team is a good one.
Can you talk about the balance of the backs and the people that you've picked? I mean, there's no Robbie Henshaw saying the starting team, or Mac Hansen is probably unlucky to lose out, but then who am I to say?
Yeah, no, that's true. In all of that, obviously you look at our bench, and we've got an experienced bench, an explosive bench, a bench that can come on and add to our performance. So that's pretty important. Also, and then the starters in the back line, you're talking about, Corky, there. Again, I think it's a nice balance. I think you've got people who are in form and balance our team up pretty nicely.
And just a final question, what are you expecting from England on the pitch? I mean, they're a side who are kind of building their way into this competition. You know what Twickenham is like for opposing teams to go there. What are you expecting from the England team?
Well, we've got to make sure that they've got a bump in the road. You say that they're building through the competition, but we've got to put a little bit of a stop to that, haven't we? That's our intention, to go over there and prove to ourselves that there's a performance in there from us that's a step above what we've shown already.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
Hi Andy, how are things? Joe here from Virgin Media.
Hi Joe.
Just wanted to ask you, you decided to start Peter O'Mahony with Jack Conan on the bench. What was the thinking behind that decision to kind of switch it from the usual starting with Conan with O'Mahony to come on?
Obviously both great players. Again, we just think the balance is right for this game. Pete's in good form, not just physically, but he's a good emotional leader for us as well. Leadership's a big part of every team performance, and obviously we know what Pete brings as far as the set piece is concerned and the breakdown's concerned, but the rest of his game has come on an absolute treat. His attack stuff has really stepped up. So look, I think he played really well against Italy. I also thought that Jack played really well coming off the bench and had a big impact. And again, I think the balance is right for this week.
And just with James Lowe starting on the wing and Mac Hansen losing out, what does James Lowe bring into a team when he's fully fit that differentiates him from other players in the back three?
Well, I think we've all seen it, haven't we? Certainly the progression that we saw in the autumn, etc., and the learnings that he'd taken on board. Certainly, to be able to perform on the big stage at international level is something that we want to see at the weekend. Obviously, he's a big threat, ball in hand. He also links very well, as does Mac, and we all know that he's got a left boot in him as well. So. Obviously, James being on the left wing and left-footed is a big advantage for us.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Hi Andy, how's it going?
Good morning.
Tight goal that you said with Keane and Dave Kilcoyne vying for that spot. What got Keane the nod ahead of David?
Yeah, it's a good question because it's something that we've been toying with. Keane's obviously got experience, chomping at the bit for an opportunity, as is Killer. We feel that the combination certainly at set piece time is pretty important with Keane there. Keane will go hard, and David will add when he comes on.
No doubt a tough one in midfield as well. You're kind of spoiled for choice with centres. What was the thinking there with Bundy coming back in at 12?
I think he's been playing really well. I think there's the big aspects of his game that's come on strong. Again, he's he's obviously known for his aggressive ball carrying style, etc. But the delicacies of his game has really come on as well. So we think he deserves a game. Having said that, obviously Robbie, a little bit of lack of game time, etc. He's good to go, fully fit, raring to come on and add to the team as well.
And finally, for me, what kind of performance do you want to see from this 23?
One that's themselves from the off, and is relentless in the pursuit to keep getting back on track the whole time, and take the rough with the smooth, and make sure that we manage our way through difficult circumstances, because that's a fact. It's going to happen at Twickenham, but learning from previous mistakes that we've made there, etc., and being ourselves for the full 80 minutes.
Thanks, Andy. All the best.
Thanks, Murray.
Andy, Ed Elliott at PA.
Hi there.
Hi. Johnny was talking earlier this week about his future with the contract and the World Cup. And this could potentially be his last visit to Twickenham. Does that give you an extra incentive going into this game?
It's not something we've talked about. We just care about our preparation for this game, how we best prepare the team, and Johnny's central to that.
And Eddie Jones has obviously been talking and saying Ireland are favourites and the most cohesive team in the world. The bookmakers seem to agree with Eddie on this occasion. Where do you stand on Ireland being favourites?
Doesn't bother me whatsoever. I don't see what it does for and against. It's just about us preparing properly. I also know that Eddie's said plenty of times in the past as well that praise makes you weak. So we make sure that we just keep care of our own house and prepare properly over the next coming days and ready to perform on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hi Andy. I'm just wondering, when there's talk about the different evolutions of the team, and maybe Ireland are a little bit further on as a team compared to England, how do you strike the balance between giving England the correct amount of respect and just that, if you know what I mean, that you don't give them an ounce more respect than they need?
Well, look, we respect every team that we play, as you know, but we certainly respect the challenge ahead of us this weekend. Going to Twickenham, listening to Joe Merler's comments during the week regarding he's never thought of anything but being a favourite at Twickenham, and rightly so. The record's very good there, so it's a massive challenge for us this weekend, and something that we're looking forward to.
I'm just wondering if you release players back to the provinces, or who you're bringing with you additionally.
Oh yeah, there's a few players that's been released back. I'll wait for the provinces to name their sides as well in the coming days.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Morning, Andy. Nick Wellington. Nice to
hey, Nick.
see you. I think it's the first time we've spoken to you since Johnny announced that he's hoping to go on until the World Cup next year. In a list of players who detest losing, where would he stand on that list, do you think?
I think there's probably about 10 of them that would sit at number one, and he's certainly in those 10.
What's he like to work with?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, he cares. He cares about his own performance, his own preparation, his team's performance. He's a team player first and foremost. He cares, and he's driven to be as good as he possibly can be, and that's why you get longevity in any walk of life.
Was there anything that surprised you about him when you started to work with him that perhaps you hadn't noticed when you were working against him?
No. My first conversation that I remember having with him is the 2013 Lions, where we met for the first time in a hotel a week before we left for Australia, and my first question to him was, do you enjoy talking about rugby? And he looked at me in a strange way to say, are you kidding? That's part of my problem, He loves it. He lives and breathes it, So that's why he's done so well, because when people talk about 10,000 hours and people putting time on the field, and it's all about practice. You've not got a clue what's going on in people's minds, and I think I've got a bit of a clue what's going on in Johnny's mind.
Great stuff. Cheers, Andy. Enjoy the weekend.
Cheers, Nick.
We'll take the last question in this section.
Yeah, hi Andy, just a quick one for me. You were talking earlier there about how you're obviously preparing for not everything to go your own way and having to roll with the punches to an extent. I just wonder how do you in training go about simulating that, or is it just relying on players' past experiences and troubleshooting in the moment?
By not getting in your own way, by allowing yourself to get to the next moment, by not crashing your own thoughts and playing emotionally, etc. You know, we've learned some lessons in that regard, and certainly not too long ago actually. So we're looking to make sure that we get better in that area.